Today is February 17th, President's Day. I had a 3 day weekend. I was chief on call last week, which essentially means that I am the point of contact for the internal medicine department and their residents. So if somebody is getting sick or some sort of issue happens with any of the services on campus, I get paged with this pager right here, actually, which I just turned off yesterday morning, or actually this morning, to hand it off to the other chief. I have four chiefs in my department, and we kind of rotate every week for chief on call. So my duties last week, I only really called in maybe one or two people last week. It was kind of like a slower week in terms of people calling out sick, which is a good thing. But I just saw Captain America: Brave New World with Anthony Mackie. The movie was okay. I didn't really think it was that bad as people were saying online, but I didn't think it was particularly amazing. Had Red Hulk and everything in there. But despite all that, I did have a great day today, feeling good. I have a presentation in the morning for a morning report. We usually hold them between 8 a.m. to 9 o'clock in the morning from Tuesdays to Fridays. So I'm going to do that presentation tomorrow morning, try to get some good teaching points for all three levels of the residents. I'm doing a GI bleed, an acute GI bleed, for a case that I just had a couple of weeks ago when I was doing my swing attending shift. If you guys didn't see that video for my day in the life of a swing attending, you can check out the top right hand corner for that video and go see what that day was like. I'm going to present that case tomorrow morning and try to get some good teaching points off.
A real case.
Yeah. Yeah, like what are you guys thinking?
I asked what the vitals are.
Mhm.
And,
Mhm.
and kind of go from there, see something.
Sweet. So this is the picture that we got sent. So I went to the bedside and started doing a little bit of evaluation. Some of her history here. She has a lot of history. She has untreated Hep C, hypertension, schizoaffective disorder, obesity, asthma, degenerative lumbar spine disease. So it's a little bit of history right there. Is there any other questions you guys had?
I know this picture was on GI.
Yeah.
I want to know the primary.
All right, we completed that morning report, went really well. Talked about a dilophoid lesion, and we thankfully had a GI specialist that came and was able to kind of improve what we wanted to learn. So, shout out Dr. Liu, appreciate that guy. So, now for the rest of the day today, I'm just going to respond to emails, see if there's anything I need to do. I have more morning reports throughout this week that will be presented by residents, so I'll have to review those and make sure those look good. Important aspects of being a chief is that you have to be a good educator as well. So you don't really get trained on how to be a physician educator. It's just something that you pick up along the way. And being in this chief job has been really helpful because it has been giving me the opportunity to be a physician educator before I jump into my complete attending job. So I have these opportunities, especially being the education chief, to do these conferences and teach on my own to kind of develop my style. And I've been really appreciating this chief job for it. Taking a little bit of a break on the work day, heading into a doctor's appointment to get my right eye checked. If you guys are following along, I had this corneal ulcer in my right eye that thankfully is closed, but there's a little bit of leftover inflammation that was over my central part of my vision. So I've been on these steroid eye drops for quite some time now, for a few days, and I'm going in to just make sure that it's healing appropriately. From what they told me, the ulcer didn't go deep enough to affect my vision permanently, but the doctor that did my LASIK eye surgery last year is checking with my appointment today, along with the ophthalmologist, just to make sure that everything's like back on track and to see how long I need to be on these steroid eye drops for. So fingers crossed, hoping for the best. Vision, I have noticed that when you lose something health-wise, you don't really realize how good you had it until you lose it. Like if you have back pain, if you have some sort of injury, not realizing the things that you can do that you're taking for granted, it really makes you appreciate the simple facets of life. Just concluded the appointment. My eye is about 85% recovered, so gonna be on these eye drops for a little bit longer, but I don't have to take them as frequently throughout the day. So just have to take those and hope for the best the next appointment.
I'm pretty sure my pediatrician has never.
One of the things I've had to severely rely on this year is the calendar, Google Calendar, Outlook Calendar, and how helpful it is. And I think one thing that I'm going to take out of this chief year is using calendars just for my normal life, because just seeing that and everything I've mapped out, there's so many things that are just running around in my mind, but I don't really think about until maybe like a few days come before. So being able to kind of map out like, oh, what am I doing in June? What am I doing in July? When am I open? Being able to plan certain vacations or certain meetings, that's always been very helpful. So I just finished up my last meeting for today. It's 5 o'clock and I head home, eat dinner, and then I gotta untwist my locks here and then go from there.
One of the aspects of life that you really have to realize when you become a doctor too is being able to know how to separate work from home and knowing how to leave work at the workplace. A lot of us here at the hospital and a lot of people that are doctors are really dedicated to our patients, but we also have to know when to take breaks, how to take breaks, and know how to separate life from the hospital, because if you come a little bit too enthralled into the work, a little bit too thrown into the work, then oftentimes you can lose yourself, and that oftentimes leads to burnout. So know how to take breaks no matter what type of profession you are. But if you guys are medical students or early doctors, remember that so you guys don't burn out of your profession.
All right, I'm gonna finish up the day. We had a pretty successful day today with the morning reports. I was able to get my eyes checked out and they're getting a little bit better. And in terms of the rest of the week, I have a morning report scheduled for tomorrow, Wednesday, and the following day, Thursday, which are going to be a little bit different from today. Today was my own morning reports and I got to kind of mediate the whole discussion. But the next 2 days, usually we have residents on Tuesday, no, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, doing their own morning reports, and my role as chief as well as the other chiefs, we all kind of are there to help edit the presentations, make sure they flow coherently and make sense, and then also kind of mediate the discussion at the actual presentations like we did this morning, and make sure that if there is something incorrect said, then we kind of correct it on the spot. And if we are trying to mediate participation, we try to get everybody to give their inputs on what they would do for these patients that the residents that's presenting saw while they're in the hospital. So I'm gonna go ahead and review that, finish up my dinner here. I got some greens, proteins, some meatballs, and I'm also going to just watch SWAT. I've been taking a liking to SWAT. I've seen, I think what's Shamir Moore, I forget his name, Hondo on the show if you guys are SWAT fans. I have really liked the show so far, and it's been kind of like a turn my brain off and just relax type of thing. And yeah, I'm going to watch that. If you guys made it to the end of the video today, type SWAT in the comment section down below. That'll be the keyword for today, and I'll like your guys' comments. So I'll see you guys later. Today was a little bit less clinical, more administrative. So we'll do a little bit more of each one in the future. So peace. Have a nice day.